A lot of people have been on airplanes at least once in their lives, and whether or not they've experienced it, they've heard the word turbulence. It is one of the most unforeseen climate phenomena important to pilots. In simple words, turbulence is an unstable air motion stemming from whirls and upright currents. It is attributed to thunderstorms, wind shear, etc., and is also deemed one of physics' biggest quandaries. But one thing is certain, going through it is not a pleasant experience. And one of the main reasons people are so afraid of turbulence is because they do not know what causes it, how the airplanes are structured and designed, and how the pilots are trained to handle it. In today's video, we are going to learn why turbulence happens and when it is dangerous. There are several degrees of turbulence and the reason behind its cause. One might be so major that it makes you feel like your body is being physically assaulted thousands of feet above in the air, causing the airplane to completely lose control and leading to structural damage. On the other hand, one might be so less intense that it passes in a jiffy and might feel like a small bump along the way. Turbulent swirls, almost the size of an airplane, elicit violent rolls, tilts, and yaws. Let us tell you a little more about turbulence intensity. When turbulence is reported, it is generally classified into 4 categories: light, medium, severe, or extreme. The degree of turbulence is discerned by the disposition of the initiating medium and by the level of stability of the motion of the air. When the turbulence is light, it shortly results in slight shifts in stance and slash or altitude or a minor bumpiness. As a result, the borders of the airplane might have to withstand a tiny strain against their seatbelts. Moderate turbulences are identical to light turbulence, but relatively a little more intense. But a loss of restraint on the airplane is not experienced. On the other hand, boarders may have to withstand a substantial strain against their seatbelts, and personal items that are not secured properly will be dislodged. Severe turbulence is the one that causes huge and sudden shifts in stance and slash or altitude, generally massive deviations in the indicated speed of the air. As a result, the aircraft might get out of control momentarily and the boarders might be forced abruptly against their seatbelts. And when the severe turbulence gets more extreme, it is sometimes referred to as extreme turbulence. The aircraft is hurled roughly and violently and gets extremely difficult to control. This type of turbulence can lead to structural damage. Turbulence occurs when sudden flares of energy or power get into the air through which the plane is flying. This energy spurs shifts in the speed and the pressure of airflow, which directs the strong air currents that propel in varied directions. And 3 prime factors cause turbulence. Shear, in which turbulence arises when 2 adjoining regions of air move in distinct directions. The border between them might become a turbulence hotspot in such a case. One of the most common reasons for shear is jet flow from a different aircraft, also known as wake turbulence. Planes also suffer turbulence while flying through rising and plunging air cavities known as eddies. They are created along the verges of the thunderstorm semblance, which the aircraft attempts to bypass. These whirls are not apparent on the radars, and it is difficult to deduce the borders of the turbulence vicinity in advance and rectify the route on the ground itself. Turbulence can furthermore transpire while landing when the aircraft withstands powerful side winds and headwinds. It is experienced more forcefully at lower altitudes and is lesser at higher altitudes. The bigger the airliner, the limited apparent turbulence. The only category of turbulence that is considered dangerous is severe and extreme turbulence, because the pilots might momentarily lose control of the airplane. But these types of turbulence are very unusual and occur in the region of action of thunderstorms and their huge accumulation. This can be predicted by surveying the climate charts and tracking the radar of the route. Therefore, pilots will perpetually try to bypass these regions if possible, and if they can't, they select alternate airfields. Additionally, there are regulations on what extent it is secure to bypass risky zones, both from the height and sidewards. And since turbulence is a familiar part of most flights, the best way to secure oneself is to keep the seatbelt fastened throughout the entire flight, instead of only when the sign is adorned. Have you experienced major turbulence while flying? Share your experiences in the comments. Thanks for watching.